Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video, and people often ask me, why do I make photography videos for my channel using a 10-year-old entry-level APS-C mirrorless camera paired with the kit lens which came with the camera. Stick around because in today's video I'm going to explain exactly why. So if you've watched any of my other videos on this channel, you may have seen me using my Sony A5100 paired with the kit lens which came with it, which is a 16 to 50mm f3.5 to f5.6 aperture. Now the Sony A5100 was released in August 2014, which is over 10 years ago. I didn't buy this camera then. In fact, I only bought it about 6 months ago. I picked it up secondhand in mint condition at a really good price and fell in love with it immediately. So the Sony A5100 is an entry-level mirrorless camera which has a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor and records video at 1080p Full HD at a maximum of 60 frames per second. And it has this nice flip-up screen on it, and quite honestly, it produces surprisingly good images. I do have a slightly more modern full-frame camera, which is the Panasonic Lumix S5, which I bought when it was released in September of 2020. In fact, I have two Panasonic Lumix S5s, as I picked up a second one new about 6 months ago as well, at a ridiculously low discounted price, which was impossible to pass up. I have the two kit lenses which came with the Panasonic S5, which is the excellent 20 to 60mm f3.5 to f5.6, which I often use as my main camera when I'm shooting behind the scenes session videos. I also have the Lumix S85mm, which is a 1.8 aperture lens, and the Lumix S50mm, which again is an f1.8 lens, and which produce amazing images. So why do I use my Sony A5100 instead of my Panasonic Lumix S5, which is far superior in all aspects and features, apart from being a 24 megapixel sensor as well? But remember that the S5 is full frame and the Sony A5100 is an APS-C sensor. Well, there are a number of reasons. One of them, of course, is the flexibility that this camera offers. It's extremely small and lightweight, and I carry it around with me whenever I travel because everything that I need fits into this tiny little hard case. If you're interested in knowing what I keep inside this hard case as well as the camera, check out this video here. As I say, it's a great camera to travel with, but it's also really good for street photography. It's very unobtrusive, and I've used it for a lot of long exposure photography as well. But that really isn't the main reason why I use this camera for demonstrating photographic techniques and camera accessories here on my channel. The simple reason is that many people do not have a new modern top-of-the-range camera. They may have just started out in photography, or they may have been on their photography path for a number of years and are using an old DSLR camera or an early mirrorless camera like the one that I'm using. And why do I use this kit lens instead of using a prime lens? Well, again, because not everybody has prime lenses, which have wide apertures. Different camera brands vary. However, most of them are quite similar in the specifications of this kit lens. It has a variable focal length between 16 and 50mm on a full frame camera, which would be the equivalent of about 24mm to 75mm on this APS-C camera. And the aperture varies depending on the focal length which you're using. So one thing is for certain. If a particular photography technique is possible on this camera lens combination, then it will also be possible on any camera lens combination which is the same as or superior to this one. Which means that if your camera was released in the last 10 years, then most of the photography techniques which I demonstrate here on this channel will be able to be reproduced using your camera and lens setup. Obviously, I'm not comparing a 10-year-old entry-level APS-C camera with a kit lens to the latest and greatest top-of-the-range full-frame camera with a prime lens attached. The quality must be different because the price is also incredibly different. But they all take images. I just want you all to be able to follow my suggestions in my videos using whichever camera and lens you have available. If it's an old entry-level camera with a kit lens attached, then for me that is absolutely perfect. And if it's a new full-frame top-of-the-range camera with a prime lens attached, then again, that for me is absolutely perfect. When we start out on our photography journey, we often invest in a new camera, or we may buy a second-hand one, or we may just rummage around in the drawer and pull out a camera that's been sitting there for years. But we all want to learn different techniques and how to create different results in our images, no matter which camera we use. I know that a lot of people buy a prime lens because they love that out of focus, silky smooth bokeh, which can be obtained by using a very wide aperture. And that too is very valid. However, if you haven't got a prime lens, it's not the end of the world. You can still get an out of focus background and foreground using this kit lens, depending on the focal length which you use and the distance from the camera to the subject and the subject to the background or foreground. Remember that the great thing about photography is that it is fun. I've said it many times and I will continue to say it. And one of the fun things about photography is learning how to create different results in your images. When you see an image that you like, you may get the urge to try to learn how to create a similar result yourself. For me, there are two different paths which can be taken when we create images with our cameras. The first one is to go out with our camera and take some photos and hope that the final result is nice. And the second path is to decide on the final result that you want before you pick up your camera. In my case, it's generally that second path. I like to have a clear idea in my mind of the final result that I want, as well as a clear idea of how to create that final result. So if you've seen a particular image which you like in a book, online, or on social media, analyze it, watch tutorials online, and try to work out how to create a similar final result in your own images. Then pick up your camera and practice, 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 experiment, experiment, experiment. Well, I hope that explains why I use this 10-year-old entry-level APS-C camera paired with the kit lens which came with it to demonstrate photography techniques and accessories here on my channel. And I also hope that I've been able to motivate you to move forward on your photography path. And here's a little tip for you. Try to find at least one moment every week to pick up your camera and take some shots, even if it's just 30 minutes or so. You'll be amazed at how much you enjoy that moment every time, and how much you look forward to it during the week, and how much you miss it when it's been impossible to do. Remember that if you don't practice, you'll never learn or get better results in your images. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I always answer your comments, and it's great interacting with you. Please like and share this video with any friends or family who you think may find it interesting. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. And while you're at it, ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel. Remember that subscribing to a YouTube channel is completely free for you, and it helps the channel to grow. You'll find affiliate links to gear used in the making of this video in the description section down below. If you do purchase something through one of my affiliate links, the price to you will be the same, and I will receive a small commission, which will help me to continue creating content for you here on my channel. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Video signing off. Take care and be safe.